Hello and welcome to this free webinar. I'm so grateful for you to be here. Thank you so much for clicking on the link, and obviously right now, wherever you are in your life, you're ready for some change, or you're a little bit confused about what the next steps are. You might feel a little bit lost, you might need some direction, you might feel the stuck feeling inside you, or you might feel like there's something more out there for you, but you just don't know what it is. You may be a first-time mother, a second-time mother, a third-time mother. You may be an older mother. Wherever you are on your journey, welcome. And I really hope that you get something out of this video. So I'm Trina. I'm from Mindset Mama. A bit about me and what and why Mindset Mama come about. It is a new business. I've just started it in the last 6 months, and I did have a beautiful business partner who unfortunately has had to resign from her partnership with me. But that's life, and I wish her all the best on her journey. But for me, many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, before I had my first baby, I started to get this feeling that there was a little bit more for me out there. I'm a school teacher, and I've been a teacher for about 12 years now, and I have travelled the world, and I've lived in London, and I travelled through South America. And I got back and I moved to the Sunshine Coast, which is a beautiful place in Australia on the beach. And I started to get this feeling that there was just something else for me out there. And then I had a baby. And when I had a baby, that's when, of course, as we know, you have a baby, and that's when you really start to question everything. For me, that is when I really had that feeling of the stuck feeling. I felt stuck and I felt so confused about what was next. And I just had this feeling that there was something more for me. I didn't hate my job. I really loved teaching. I was a special needs teacher, and I loved working with kids with disabilities. I was in leadership at the time, and I loved coaching and working with adults. But at that time, I was obsessed with helping them with their mindsets. So although I was trying to help them with all education stuff, I really just wanted to support them with their mindset. And yeah, so it was at this time that I had my first baby, and I also felt this sense of loss of my old self, because your needs once you become a mother are completely different. You probably are experiencing that now, which is why you're here. So before you're a mother, or before I was a mother, I'll talk about what my needs were and how I met them. I would see my friends all the time. I would go out dancing and partying and drinking. I travelled the world. I travelled all the time. I would lay at the beach. I would go to the beach. I would exercise every single day. I'd get 8 hours sleep religiously. My husband and I, my relationship was amazing because we got to hang out and we laughed and we joked, and we didn't have the pressures of having kids. You could actually talk. And so I met my needs. My cup was always full, and I was very rarely stressed. At the time, I probably thought I was stressed because teaching is stressful. So I probably was a little bit stressed. But looking back to what, compared to now, having 2 little kids, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, it was nothing. So when I had a baby, I couldn't do anything like that before. I'd been a teacher for 12 years. I worked my bum off as a teacher. That was my identity. I gave my heart and soul to that job. I also met my needs by doing all those things I just listed. Then you have a baby and you can't do any of that. You think that you will be able to, but then you have a baby and you realize you can't do any of that. So I had to work out what my needs were now and how I was going to fill my cup up, because I couldn't do what I used to do. And this is when I felt this real stuck, or what's next, or there's something else, there's something more, there's something bigger, and all these questions come to me. Why am I on this earth? What am I here for? What are my unique abilities? What am I talented at? What impact do I want to leave? And of course, there's so many other things that come along with having a baby too, because it's like, okay, I'm a mother now. What does a mother mean? Do I want to be a mother like my mother, or do I want to be a different mother? What do I want to teach them? What values are important? What am I modeling? Because really, it's not what comes out of my mouth, but what are my actions modeling to them? How do I want to show up in the world? What do I want them to take from their childhood? So all of these questions start to come up. So this is why you can start to begin to feel really confused and stuck, because you've got all this coming up. You don't know whether you want to go back to your old job because that did meet my needs once upon a time, but now it doesn't, because I'm a completely different person. I have seen parts of me that I've never seen before. I've found parts within that I've never had to use before. The courage, the strength, the vulnerability, the rawness, the openness, the ability to survive some of the days that you can survive. And I always put it back to, you can go through pregnancy and labor and then have the baby, and think about how uncomfortable that is at times. Think about how uncomfortable you are during pregnancy, if you had an uncomfortable pregnancy, and then the birth, and then being a mother. But look at the reward you get for putting yourself through that discomfort. The more the discomfort, the bigger the result or the outcome. So I had this feeling and I didn't know where to start. I did not know where to start. I mean, I sort of had been meditating, which I think had been helping me. So I just started to research and study people and listen to their stories, and I become obsessed with studying people's mindsets and what made people successful. People doing what they want to do in life, living the life of their dreams, doing the job, they're fulfilled, they're waking up every day motivated, happy, joyful, they're financially free, they're living the life of their dreams, whatever that looks like for them. What do? What are their habits? And I realized that they all were doing the same thing. They all had rituals, they all had habits that they did every day. And I remember calling Dad and I said, oh my God, Dad, all these people that I've been studying and listening to are all doing the same thing. They've all got the same habits, the same daily rituals. And I have become so obsessed, and I started to implement them, and I started to use them in my own life. And I come up with about 10 things that they do, and 10 to 12 things that they do to make them live the life that they're living, whatever that looks like on their terms. So their health and fitness is where they want it to be. Their relationships, their finances, their mindset is absolutely key. Their profession or their business or whatever they're doing, they are living a 10, near 10 in all their areas of life. And I started to use the things that they were doing. And I loved them. I swear by them, and I still use them to this day. And this is what I'm teaching. This is why I brought together Mindset Mama, because I now want to teach you these tools that I use, these habits that I use that will absolutely change your life. And for you, if you are feeling that stuck or that confused or that I don't know what's next or my next step, or I don't want to go back to my old job, but I don't know what I'm good at, all these things that you can feel once you become a mum, because your needs have changed. So you're going to need different things now. Learn different things, get new skills, get new knowledge. And I thought, I'm going to teach mothers this. I'm a teacher. I love educating people. I love working with people. I love supporting people. That's what I love to do. So that is where Mindset Mama was birthed. Mindset Mama, we collaborated, me and my business partner. So that was about 5 months ago. And this is where I am today. So what I do is I teach women and I work with women, and I'm a personal coach, and I hold workshops and run online courses and virtual workshops, helping mothers to overcome these feelings, the feelings of the loss of self, the loss of identity, their old self, the feeling of confusion, the feeling of what's next for me, the feeling of, oh, I know there's something else out there, there's something different for me, but how do I get there? What do I do? So it took me years to get there. It took a lot of time, but I'm hoping if I can teach you these things, you can just run with it and do it lots quicker than I did. Yes, it will still take time, but you have the tools and the strategies to use right away. So that's what Mindset Mama does. That's what we help you with. So let's get started with a few activities. Now, a big part of Mindset Mama is teaching you how to set goals.